But what if insects were disappearing at an alarming rate? How would this affect our lives? In this video, we will delve into the alarming reality of insects and their potential disappearance from our planet. Welcome to the insect apocalypse. Insects are the most abundant and diverse form of animal life on Earth. They represent around 80% of all known animal species, and there are surely millions more yet to be discovered. From the elegant dragonfly that patrols ponds and gardens to the humble and hard-working beetle that recycles soil nutrients, these small beings are the indispensable gears that make the planet's engine run and enable ecosystems to thrive. But this vibrant and bustling world is slowly disappearing. A study published in the prestigious journal, Biological Conservation, rocked the scientific community with an alarming conclusion. More than 40% of insect species are in decline, and a third are in danger of extinction. A publication largely ignored by most media outlets and social networks. Yet it's of utmost importance because it affects the life of the planet and, in turn, affects us all. The findings of this publication are no small matter. The extinction rate is 8 times faster than that of mammals, birds, and reptiles. This phenomenon isn't limited to a single region or a specific type of insect. While some species have received more attention, like bees disappearing in Europe and the Americas, fireflies in Asia, and the worldwide reduction of butterflies, the problem is actually affecting all species. For example, in Germany, long-term studies revealed a decrease of more than 75% in the total biomass of flying insects in protected areas in less than 30 years. And in the tropical forests of Puerto Rico, the biomass of terrestrial arthropods has plummeted by as much as 60 times compared to the 1970s. These measurements show us a global catastrophe happening before our eyes, but on such a small scale that it goes unnoticed by most. So, who is to blame for this silent catastrophe? The answer is simple. It's us. This is a perfect storm of human-created pressures. You just have to look at habitat loss. For example, when a flourishing meadow becomes a shopping mall, unseen and unknown to us, many species that inhabited this space, their home, are affected. Or when we use pesticides on our crop fields and an unsuspecting bee arrives looking for food, only to encounter a substance that paralyzes its nervous system and ultimately leads to its death. Now, let's look at the case of the monarch butterfly and its epic migration. On their journey, they face extreme temperatures and fires in California or strong winds that can drag them off course, a journey crucial for the ecosystems. Their epic migration is one of the wonders of the natural world, but their populations have plummeted by more than 80% in the last 2 decades. Why? The answer lies in the illegal logging of their winter sanctuaries in Mexico and in the eradication of milkweed, the only plant where they lay their eggs, due to the use of herbicides on crop fields in the United States and Canada. This is a problem that knows no borders, showing that our local actions have global consequences. Let's look at how something as simple as our city lights attracts moths at night. Drawn to them, they tirelessly circle streetlights, unable to perform their vital work as nocturnal pollinators or reproduce to sustain the species. As you can see, Intensive agriculture has replaced meadows and forests with monocultures that are deserts for insects. The indiscriminate use of pesticides directly poisons them. Climate change alters their life cycles, and light pollution confuses their nocturnal behaviors. Each factor is a blow, but together they are devastating. When you think of a pollinator, you probably picture a bee. But this vital work is also performed by thousands of species of flies, beetles, moths, wasps, and butterflies. Their work is crucial for the reproduction of more than 85% of the planet's flowering plants, including approximately 75% of the world's major food crops. Without them, we would have to say goodbye to some foods or see an exorbitant increase in their price, such as apples, almonds, blueberries, coffee, cocoa, avocados, and pumpkins. Another impact would be on decomposition and nutrient cycling. As we showed you in our previous video, how is planet Earth regenerated? The link to which you can find in the description. Insects play a fundamental role in this process, working alongside fungi and carrion animals. Insects are a part of nature's recycling team. Dung beetles, termites, flies, and ants break down dead organic matter such as fallen plants, animal carcasses, and waste. This process is vital for releasing essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, returning them to the soil and making them available to plants. Without this cleanup service, ecosystems would drown in their own waste. Organic matter would accumulate, soils would become infertile, and the nutrient cycles that sustain all plant life would slowly grind to a halt and eventually collapse. And finally, the foundation of the food web would be affected. Insects are an indispensable food source for an overwhelming number of species. Here we see a chameleon feeding on insects in slow motion. Birds, bats, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and even some mammals depend on them for survival. This would even affect some plants, such as so-called carnivorous plants. The drastic decline of insectivorous birds like swallows and swifts in Europe and North America is directly linked to the lack of their food source. In some cultures, insects are a source of healthy protein, especially in Asian cultures, where this practice, known as entomophagy, has deep historical roots and continues to be an important part of their cuisine and economy. Beyond being a mere custom, the consumption of insects represents a sustainable and nutritious solution to the challenges of food security. Countries like Thailand, Vietnam, China, Cambodia, and Laos have a long tradition of collecting and farming a wide variety of insects for human consumption. From a nutritional standpoint, insects are an excellent source of high-quality protein, comparable to beef or chicken. In addition, they are rich in essential vitamins, minerals like iron and zinc, and healthy fats. For example, crickets contain a significant amount of protein per 3.5 ounces, and mealworms are a good source of unsaturated fatty acids. The farming of insects for consumption also offers significant environmental benefits compared to traditional livestock farming. It requires significantly less land and water, emits a fraction of the greenhouse gases, and can be done using organic waste as feed, thus contributing to a circular economy. Currently, insect-based technologies are being developed to optimize the circular economy and waste utilization, such as with black soldier fly larvae. These larvae become an excellent source of protein for feeding poultry, and even for manufacturing pet food for dogs and cats. Now, I'm going to show you how to use this insect's larvae to feed chickens. First, black soldier fly eggs are used to breed them in a controlled environment. Next, you feed the larvae with kitchen waste and the chicken manure produced by the birds themselves. The larvae devour the entirety of the waste, transforming it into healthy fats and proteins that are stored in their bodies. After approximately 12 days, the larvae are in their pupal stage and can be fed to the chickens. This meets the bird's protein and amino acid requirements, which reduces the need for expensive commercial feed. It also helps reduce the carbon footprint and contributes to the environment, completing the circular economy cycle. This example shows us the importance of insects and how we can use them for productive purposes while also helping the planet. Now that we've seen this example, let's return to our main problem. Let's start with habitat loss and fragmentation. This is by far the leading cause. The expansion of intensive agriculture has transformed diverse, life-rich landscapes into vast monocultures. These green deserts, often treated with chemicals, offer neither food nor shelter for most insects. Urbanization, deforestation, and the draining of wetlands also destroy and fragment habitats, isolating insect populations and making them more vulnerable. Chemical contamination is a silent killer. The widespread use of pesticides is lethal. Neonicotinoids, a type of systemic insecticide, are particularly notorious. They're applied to seeds and spread throughout the entire plant, including the nectar and pollen. This means they don't just kill pests, but also poison pollinators and other beneficial insects. What's more, herbicides like glyphosate destroy so-called weeds, which are often vital plants for native insects, leaving them without food and causing their local eradication. Climate change is another concerning factor. Global warming is altering the conditions in which insects have evolved over millions of years. Extreme temperatures, prolonged droughts, and altered rainfall patterns could directly kill insects or throw their life cycles out of sync with the plants they depend on. For example, if an insect emerges before its host plants bloom due to a warmer winter, it will starve. And finally, we have light pollution. The artificial light from our cities and roads is a deadly trap for nocturnal insects, like moths. It disorients their navigation, interferes with their reproduction, and makes them easy prey. It's not hard to see how we're lighting up our planet. All you have to do is observe it from space. Few places are still truly dark at night. With this in mind, the question is, can we reverse course? The outlook is grim, but hope is not lost. The crisis is human-caused, and the solutions are also in our hands. Reversing this trend requires a concerted effort at all levels. At a global and governmental level, bold policies are needed to transform the agricultural system, promoting practices like regenerative agriculture, crop rotation, and the creation of habitat corridors. It's also crucial to drastically restrict the use of the most harmful pesticides. At the community level, we need cities to create more green spaces, plant native flora in parks, and reduce light pollution. And the most important is at the individual level. We can all contribute. Planting native flowers in our gardens, balconies, or even in pots can create mini havens for pollinators. Avoiding the use of pesticides and herbicides at home is a fundamental step. Supporting local and organic farmers also makes a difference. The silent extinction of insects isn't a distant problem. It's an existential emergency. To believe this catastrophe doesn't concern you would be a grave mistake. It's time to start listening before the silence becomes absolute and permanent. We encourage you to share this video and help spread the message. That's another powerful way to help insects, by creating awareness for their conservation.